Hello everyone. So I think it's safe to say in our workforce, we're going to be going virtual now. Now that may be an overstatement, but I still think that these tips are very important to know when using your webcam anytime. And these tips are universal regardless of using Google Hangouts, Zoom, Skype, or even Google Meet. But before we dive into this, consider checking out my channel and subscribing so that way you can see some more video content from me. When it comes to your webcam, just remember it's still a camera. Some of the basic camera principles are going to translate over to the webcam, so I boiled it down to 4 tips that you should follow. The first and most important thing you should do is make sure you have proper lighting. Since these webcams are pretty much on auto settings, then you're pretty much limited onto how your camera is going to react. But the easiest thing to do is just to make sure you have some really good lights. Of course, there are 2 ways you could accomplish this. First is natural light. Most of you are going to be working in the daytime, and I'm sure you'll have access to daylight. That is, if you don't have a window in your home. So one of the easiest things you can do is just set your desk up in front of the window, and then all you have to do is face the window and then take your video call. This way the light will wrap around naturally and the daylight will have a more natural skin tone look. The other option is to use external lighting. One of the best things to do is just to go buy yourself a really cheap LED light, and using these lights, it'll brighten your image up quite well. But one of my main things is if you're going to use external light, try softening it as much as possible, because like I said, webcams don't have as much control. So if there are hot spots on you, then it's going to look really bright. I just suggest turning the light around. That way it's bouncing off of the wall that you're facing, and then it bounces back and softens the look. Or you could even scatter it by pointing it to the ceiling. And the other thing you want to look out for is to turn off any extra sources of light, whether that be the TV or your overhead house lights, or if you have nasty fluorescent lights in the office. Trust me, you don't want those. But one thing you have to look out for, no matter what light source you use, is you need to avoid being backlit. Having an overexposed background will be a problem, and it's not going to look good or pretty. So if anything, always face the light, don't put your back to it. So the second biggest thing you need to make sure you do is to check your background. Obviously, you want to make yourself look good, so I would just take the time and just clean up around you. The webcam is a wide angle, so it gets a lot of coverage. So one easy solution is just find yourself like a blank wall or just a simple background, and then that should help cover your bases. Or if you have the availability, just use a virtual background. I know Zoom has that. The third most important tip you need to look out for is the way you angle your camera. Like I mentioned, webcams are wide angles, so it's gonna cover everything. One of the best things to do is to make sure that the webcam is right at eye level and kind of tilted down towards you. But one big reason you want the camera to be at eye level is because when you talk, you want to look at the camera lens. And if you make vlogs, then it's pretty similar. The fourth and final tip is to make sure that you have clean audio. One of the easiest things you can do is to just make sure you're in a very quiet room. Just turn off extra noises, make sure your kids are quiet, and maybe close the window so that way you don't get the unexpected leaf blower or lawnmower passing by. But one cheap solution, just buy a really good headset with a microphone. Those will have some really good sound, and all you have to do is just plug in and your computer should automatically recognize the microphone. And there you have it. Those are my easy webcam tips. So if you enjoyed this video, definitely like and subscribe to my channel so that way you can see some more video production tips. And follow me on Instagram for more exclusive content. And leave a comment below. Tell me if this is the first time you've had to do a lot of virtual video calls. So until next video, see ya.